Have you ever wondered what actually makes a home feel trendy? We always hear about how to make a home feel timeless, but we can't really understand how to make a home feel timeless without understanding how to make a home feel trendy. In this video, I'm going to break it down into 3 parts. What is a trend and where does it come from? How trends reflect and influence us and our economic times, and understanding how to know if you like something because it's trendy or because it actually speaks to you. But who am I and how do I know so much about design trends? Well, my name is Tash. I'm an interior designer that likes making design accessible to everyone. And I don't like just doing the whole telling you about an item and just leaving it at that. I want to explain to you as well why it will work and how you can do it yourself even without someone like me around. So if that's something that you think would be quite interesting to see a bit more of, make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe down below. A trendy home is typically reflective of common popular styles for that time period, often reflective of social media, design blogs, large department stores, and even couture fashion. If you've ever watched The Devil Wears Prada, you probably remember that scene where they talk about a very specific shade of blue and how it went from the couture fashion scene to the department stores.
What you don't know is that that sweater is not just blue, it's not turquoise, it's not lapis, it's actually cerulean. And you're also blithely unaware of the fact that in 2002, Oscar de la Renta did a collection of cerulean gowns. And then I think it was Yves Saint Laurent, wasn't it, who showed cerulean military jackets. I think we need a jacket here. And then it filtered down through the department stores and then trickled on down into some tragic casual corner where you no doubt fished it out of some clearance bin. However, that blue represents millions of dollars and countless jobs.
And this is a very common facet that we see even within the interior design cycle. Some big trends that you may have seen over the last couple of years may include things like the checkerboard pattern, curved everything, even a lot of red has come through the department stores recently that you may have seen. Although it's probably the most popular to see a design trend start at a big box store or through couture fashion and then trickles its way down into design trends. However, it's not the only place that we will see it. A lot of the time we have a lot of grassroots movements that happen through social media. I can think of probably quite a few that started on social media that didn't really take off massively, but for those that do genuinely like it, it became almost like their whole aesthetic. So something like cottagecore or even carnivalcore, just to name 2 that have cult followings, but not everybody followed them. Now, although social media may be the largest and most obvious sign as to whether or not something will pick up trend-wise, it's not the only one. Economic times does play an impact. I talk about it a little bit more in this video here, but especially when we go through hard economic times, minimalism starts to flourish once again. And recently, something interesting happened that I think is quite obvious that you may have noticed as well. You might have noticed that country music has become very, very popular, and I've actually seen a little bit of it come through into design. Where did that come from? My theory is that because Trump was elected last year, conservatism kind of became fresh and new again, and country music is often seen as more a conservative sort of style of music. So all of a sudden, we had artists start to jump on the bandwagon that had never done country music ever before and started producing country music, including Beyonce and Falling in Reverse. Honestly, I actually really like the Falling in Reverse song. It is an absolute banger. But I digress. Even though it obviously started within music, we're starting to see that now in design as well. You might have seen some artwork that has a cowboy on it, or you might have seen more cowhides as an example. And this is how we start to see the reflection of the larger economy and also just the larger society dictating some of the cultural trends that may not have necessarily started in couture fashion or in a specific box store. It might have actually happened more organically. I do want to quickly touch on social media again though, because it has allowed the rise of micro trends. You might have seen something be in 1 second and gone the next, and these trend cycles are going a lot quicker. But the other thing as well that I've found with these micro trends is that people that do genuinely like a very specific thing are able to find community through it as well. So as an example, cottagecore is something that a lot of people really like because they'd love to, turn back time, pretend they lived in a cottage in the middle of a forest and not have the very busy life that we have these days, they've been able to create a community and have people that also understand that feeling through their own design trend, and it's really quite interesting. The only downside that I have found with these micro trends is that I find people tend to kind of get stuck in a ditch and can't get out of it because they feel like they're so in that specific trend that they're not allowed to leave it or experiment outside of it. That is probably my only qualm with these micro trends, but I do really love the community aspect around them. But now that we understand how a trend works, where it comes from, and how it influences us, now we can ask the question, do we like something because it's trendy or because it actually reflects us? So this is where I would like to make a couple of suggestions for you to understand whether or not you do genuinely like something, or if you're just kind of doing it to follow along with the crowd. One of the easiest ways for us to know whether or not we do genuinely like something and it actually speaks to us is just to ask ourselves, if we went back or forward in 10 years' time, would we have liked it? So if we went back in time and, you're 18, did you still really like, I don't know, cowhides or horses or something that you would want it in your home and reflective in your home now? And then jump another 10 years forward and go, okay, well, since I've liked it for the last 10 years, will I continue to like it? Or is it something that is, more of a past me sort of thing, and I don't really see myself moving forward with it? Perhaps you've always liked mid century furniture and you're questioning whether or not you should be getting all this mid century furniture because it's so easy to buy. But then at the same point in time, you really have liked it all the time. Perhaps you want to experiment a little further instead of just going with something that is safe. One of the easiest things that I personally find to do is just to give myself 24 hours. Let myself sit on it for 24 hours and just think about it for a whole 2 seconds. But then also having an imagination session. Now, of course, as a designer, I have more tools to be able to create mood boards and stuff. And if that's not something that you have, that's okay. But just imagine what it looks like in your space. Do you think it will actually suit the things that you already have? Or do you think it might actually go against it and only looks good in the influencer's home, not necessarily yours? One of the biggest things to do is to know if something is referencing something else. So referencing is just, if you look in my space here, you can see I've got a little bit of a red cushion here, a pinky red cushion here, a reddish piece of art that I've done. We've got some yellow over there. We've got some yellow in the artwork. We've got green, green. That is all referencing. It is all speaking to each other. So if you're purchasing something and it doesn't reference anything else, even in terms of a design style, it might look out of place. And if it's not genuinely something that you like, I would highly go against it. Instead of having a reactive purchasing habit, perhaps think about ways to just slowly build the home that you genuinely love to make it more personable to you and to make it a little less trendy as well. Because although trends are fun to follow, not every single trend should be followed. And the final thing that I want to leave you with is that home design is a forever process. You are slowly evolving over time, and so will your home as well. So don't expect your home to be completely done in a year's time, or once you've purchased this giant sectional. You're still going to slowly always be evolving the space as you evolve as well. But if you would like to take your home to the next level and really elevate it, I'd highly suggest checking out this video here. We talk all about elevating your home, not just in a trendy way or just a timeless way, but to really make it feel as if you have lived there forever. So if you're interested in that, make sure you check that out right now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next design adventure.